For those that are new, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications to be notified whenever a brand new video is posted onto this channel. Thank you all so much for your continued support. Now let's begin. Ladies and gentlemen, Marvel Studios' most anticipated movie, The Avengers Infinity War, has now released a brand new trailer for the world to see, as right now we're going to further analyze, break down, and dissect the events of this trailer to get a better understanding as to what's to expect in this upcoming film. And again, if you guys are fans of the comic book universe, don't forget to go ahead and slap a like down below, as right now we're about to dive into the trailer as we can see the events of New York on the horizon, and there seems to be something falling from the sky. Now, what this trailer really emphasized on was the fact that Thanos is coming for the Avengers. Now, early on in the beginning, what I really did enjoy is seeing War Machine, seeing Bruce Banner, seeing Black Widow, all standing there and looking up and seeing something come down from the heavens really starts to make you wonder as to what they're in for. So we see this object coming crashing on down, and there we have it. So Thanos is indeed collecting the Infinity Stones, which we saw in the previous trailer, and I'm really curious on the idea of Thanos getting all of the Infinity Stones in this film, or perhaps maybe he's going to be cut back a bit short and gaining the rest of them in the fourth movie. But as you guys can see, Thanos is laying down the Infinity Stones, and to our knowledge, it looks like Thanos does indeed possess the Space Stone and the Power Stone so far on the gauntlet. So we get to see how Gamora is speaking about Thanos, how he's there to basically wipe out the entirety of the galaxy, the entirety of the universe. And as she's speaking, we get to see how Tony Stark pretty much asks, what is his name again? In which they go on to say Thanos. Now, I really love the idea of Gamora going back and exploring more on Thanos' lore as to why he's there and basically hunting for the Infinity Stones. Now, what I really enjoy is this shot here. Now, here we see Thanos removing his helmet. Now, there he is in all his glory. There is fire all around him. And what I really do enjoy, obviously, the Marvel opening credits. We see Peter Parker here. He's hanging on the side of the bus. Now, Peter Parker, from what it looks like, is going to be one of the first people to respond to the objects having to come on crashing down onto the ground, as seen in the city here. We see this massive object hovering over the city of New York, and assumingly so, Peter Parker is going to be the only one so far, at least to our knowledge, that's going to be one of the first respondees to finding out what this is. Now, as we go forward in the trailer, Tony Stark pretty much makes it evident that he wants to go on ahead and prepare, because if Thanos is coming to them, then they should be well prepared enough to have the numbers advantage over Thanos. But what I really enjoyed here is seeing this booster on Iron Man's feet. As you guys can see, obviously he can't seem to catch up normally in trying to pursue this ship. All of a sudden, we see how he gains this massive boost in speed in being able to keep up and catch up to the overall spaceship. Now, as we transition forward, we get to see how finally we see this. Now, what exactly is this? A lot of people may be wondering, well, you know, is it the Time Stone? Is it something else? Yes, that in fact is the Time Stone. It is the Eye of Agamotto, which is, of course, is the original Time Stone. Now, I'm really curious if Thanos is going to be able to take this away from Doctor Strange, because I believe, to my knowledge, that was the first time that we got to see the Time Stone be revealed in a Marvel film. I could be wrong, but to all its glory, there it is. So now we get to see Scarlet Witch, we get to see Vision, who of course is going to have a relationship with Scarlet Witch in the film, and I'm really curious as to how this is going to be built up. But of course, on Vision's head, he does contain the Mind Stone, so very interesting developments there. So we get to see these two, what assumingly looks like Wakanda, and of course it looks like it is. So we're back in Wakanda. Towards the end of Black Panther, we get to see how White Wolf was revealed, aka Bucky. So as we go into Wakanda, we finally see the arrival of Captain America and of course Black Widow in meeting the Black Panther, which I cannot wait for, because Black Panther was such a good film. And here we get to see how they shake hands, everybody is ready, and over in the background we get to see Bruce Banner. We also get to see Vision in the background. Everyone's basically there, or at least for the most part. Scarlet Witch, we have, you know, basically one half of the team there assembled and ready to do battle. So we see them align, everyone's back together, and I really cannot wait to see the effectiveness of the Wakandan people alongside Black Panther in this film, because it looks like for the most part all of this will be taking place for the most part in Wakanda. So as we can see here, we get to see how more or less the Guardians also arrive, which I'm really curious as to where they are, because we don't really know as to where they touch down first when they arrive, but we get to see them arrive nonetheless. And as we fast forward in the trailer, this is what really got my attention, is the fact that Star-Lord tells Tony Stark, hey, your plan is good, but it's stupid, and to make it less stupid, how about we go with my plan that's just as good, if not better. So Tony Stark is like, wow. So I'm really curious as to how they're all going to meet, and what I really do not hope to see is one half of this film just be a recruitment process. I really just hope that the only other team you need to assemble here to get along on the same page would be the Guardians, because everybody else has been well established for the most part, but we get to see how Star-Lord's talking to Tony Stark, and of course Dave Bautista's Drax in the background. We have Peter Parker with the Iron Suit on, which I cannot wait to see in action. So again, Star-Lord making a mockery of Tony Stark, and we see how Drax is overlooking Tony Stark and wondering, like, okay, so Tony is making a comment on April 27th. That is the brand new release date for the film. It's been pushed back a week. So instead of us having to wait until Memorial Weekend, we're going to be getting this a week earlier instead. So now this is where things begin to get good. So we get to see how the Wakandan people, we have Hawkeye, everybody's there, War Machine, everyone is in pursuit of the enemies that are approaching. So we get to see how Black Panther is standing side by side by Captain America. We also see Bucky Barnes right there with a brand new arm. If you look at Bucky's arm, his arm looks so different, and it's because I'm pretty certain that the Wakandan people are going to grant White Wolf a brand new arm. So that's what I'm really interested to see. And there we see the Hulkbuster suit, which I love how he just stood up from the ground as if it was nothing. So everyone's preparing, and there we get to see Thor. Now, where is Thor? We don't know. And this goes back to what I said earlier on where the Guardians touch, because if you look at the background, this place looks like a warehouse. It looks like a broken down place. Rocket Raccoon is overlooking Thor. We don't really know as to where they are, but of course, only assuming that they're going to be separated from the other Avengers that are on Wakanda right now. So Thor right there starts to use more of his powers, which again, you get to see Groot. He looks like he's growing upon us even more. So here we get to see how the ship arrives. Now, once this ship arrives, there he is. I have no idea what Thanos is holding on to his hand. It looks like either flowers or a head. I have no idea, but there he is in all his glory. Now, Thanos looks absolutely menacing, and he's always been one of my favorites in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or at least in Marvel in general, aside from Galactus and a few others. But Thanos has always been one of those remarkable characters in the world of Marvel that I really gravitated towards. And here, we also get to see how, assumingly enough, this is going to be the story of Gamora, how she remembers her father and pretty much holding on to his hand as they begin to walk away. And I'm really curious also as to what this scene is, because perhaps maybe it looks like more or less a young Gamora, and during the time, of course, of a takeover or an invasion. As we go deeper into the trailer, we get to see how Thor is basically getting his head crushed. We see blood in his mouth. Now, I'm really curious if Thor is going to be one of the first people to die, and a spoiler alert once again, there are going to be several Avengers that are going to be killed off in this film, perhaps maybe permanently. So this is pretty ruthless in what Thanos is doing, and here we get to see the children of Thanos. Now, they have Loki, but the question is, what is Loki's ultimatum in this scenario? We get to see how there are bodies everywhere, so the children of Thanos are really going to have a huge effect in this film, as they are going to potentially gather all of the Infinity Stones for Thanos. Now, there we have it. So it looks like Thanos is crushing the Tesseract, if anything, in trying to gain one of the stones. Now, there we go, back to Wakanda. We see White Wolf, aka Bucky Barnes, or Winter Soldier for that matter. Everyone's gearing up due to the Wakandans giving them shields and better, suited armor for them to fight the ongoing attack. So we see Black Panther transform. Everyone's ready. Now, I don't really know what in the world is invading Wakanda, but it looks like it's a lot of different things involved here. So I'm not entirely sure as to what the name of these invaders are. If anybody can let me know in the comment section. They're trying to crack down and break through Wakanda's shield, and they're coming in huge droves. It looks like some World War Z zombies type shit going on there. So as we transition further, we get to see how Doctor Strange is assisting several different people, including Star-Lord, in this scenario to where they're possibly fighting off Thanos, which I really cannot wait to see. But then we have Scarlet Witch, and now this is most interesting. I have no idea what in the world is going on here, but perhaps maybe they are trying to either torture Doctor Strange and allowing him to hand over the Infinity Stone that he possesses. And this dude is super ugly. He reminds me of Lord Voldemort from Harry Potter, but he's telling him to shush, and this is where everything begins to get crazy. So the all-out war is initiated, the creatures got on through, and they begin to pile up on the Hulkbuster suit, which is pretty crazy because look at this. They all gang up on him, they're pretty much ripping him to shreds, and again, I'm not entirely certain as to what these creatures are. I'm going to have to do a bit more research in finding out what they are exactly, but as you can see, the Hulkbuster suit gets completely manhandled by these creatures, and then we get to see Thanos and saying, I hope you're remembered. Now Thanos again taking off his armor, his helmet, and the setting to this location to me is very unknown. It looks to be somewhere different, perhaps maybe another planet. It doesn't resemble Earth at all, but it could possibly, you know, very well maybe Earth, somewhere on Earth where Thanos had wiped out an entire city. But Thanos is beginning to speak, and he's speaking to Tony Stark. Now, if you look at Tony's armor, his armor is just blown to pieces. It doesn't look like he's doing very good in this situation, and here we also get to see a very cool shot of Thanos just running, jumping, leaping, and pretty much punching Tony Stark in the face. Now, I'm really curious as to why he's not using the Infinity Gauntlet arm to hit him with, but it is what it is. So Thanos jumps up, he punches Tony Stark, and then here he grabs onto Captain America. Now, I want you guys to pay attention and look at Thanos's Infinity Gauntlet. So he only has 2 stones. He's missing the other stones, and we can only assume as to, you know, if he's going to get them, if this is going to take place in the beginning of the film, the middle of the film. This is going to be a pretty long film nonetheless, but it looks like Captain America is beginning to struggle in this situation because he can't seem to overpower in that particular situation. And there we have it, the Avengers Infinity War. Now, towards the end here, what I really find fascinating is how Peter Parker is introducing himself and saying, hey, I'm Peter Parker, and Doctor Strange goes on to say, hi, I'm Doctor Strange, and Peter's like, oh, okay, well, we're using our made-up names, fine, well, I'm Spider-Man. So that was pretty cool to see, but this trailer is absolutely amazing in the idea that we get to see the massive setup of this war taking place in this film, with Thanos having to invade, looking for the Infinity Stones. And what I want to know from you guys down below is, which Avenger do you guys believe is going to be the first Avenger to be killed off in this film? Is it going to be Thor? Is it going to be Vision? Is it going to be Spider-Man? Is it going to be Iron Man? Let me know down below, and let me know your overall thoughts on the battle having to take place for the most part from what it looks like in Wakanda, and then other places as you guys can see here. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you guys are new to this channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, guys. Turn on all notifications, tune back in for more, and I'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Take it easy, guys. Peace.